You are. Good morning, Fulham fans. What a morning to be a Fulham fan. What an evening last night. Fulham, it's been a long time coming, let's not forget, but Fulham finally securing promotion to the Premier League after an emphatic 3-0 victory against Preston North End. And I mean, what's more to say? Just one of the great nights at Craven Cottage. I feel like we all wanted it to happen in this sort of situation. On home turf, in our hands, a win putting us back where we belong in the Premier League. And yeah, it's just what more to say? I thought overall, especially in the first half, Fulham came out with an assertiveness, with an aggression, and just any sort of nerves that could have been lingering after the Derby defeat and, sort of shakiness just put to bed immediately. We came flying out of the blocks. Pressing was phenomenal. And yeah, we only had to wait all but 10 minutes for Alexander Mitrovic to put us ahead. Oh, I'm George Cooper, and I am delighted to be joined by Mr. Sammy James. How are you doing this morning?
Very good, very good. On cloud nine. What a night, hey? Thanks for inviting me on the old quick take. Sorry if the internet in advance is rubbish because I'm on my parents, but I'll put my apologies in early.
Just on that point, Sammy, of like how Fulham started the game yesterday, how relieved more than anything were you to see us just really attack this game, take it by the scruff of the neck? Because I think a lot of people saw Preston North End, myself included, we were talking before the game, as a potential banana skin. I was not filled with confidence going into this, given our form in the previous games. But I mean, yeah, we really took the game by the horns, didn't we?
Yeah, you were obviously scarred by Derby because I saw you beforehand, and I even told you to get a grip beforehand because I did feel like my head and heart felt like Fulham were going to do it last night, but there always is that niggling doubt because I also thought we would do it, get it done against Derby. But when you look back in hindsight, Derby and Coventry are not Preston, right? And I think early doors we set out to get this done in the opening half an hour and break through them. Other than that early chance that they had, which very much could have been a goal. It was a bit of a goal mouth scramble, but Fulham managed to get it away. We were never in doubt of letting that go last night. The players had the whites in their eyes just to get it done. And thank God for everyone's nerves that it wasn't a long, drawn-out 0-0 late goals. The second half was so enjoyable, even though no football happened. It was just about what happened in the stands.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll come on to that, obviously. Pitch invasions are always so much fun. I mean, I was denied the opportunity to jump on the last time a pitch invasion happened after the playoff semi-final victory against Derby. Just too far. No, the circumstances just meant I didn't get on. So yesterday, from the Putney end, I had my sights set on it. And it's really funny when you see the stewards come out about 10 minutes before kickoff. You could just see they're like, "Oh, we've got a job on our hands here, haven't we?" The crowd singing, "If we win, we're on the pitch. If we win, we're on the pitch." And there were a few, like the canary who goes out first. There was one guy in a grey jumper I just saw who just sort of broke the initial front line of the stewards. And then after that, they were like, "Oh, sod this. You guys crack on, have a good time." It was just absolutely brilliant. The thing that makes me laugh about pitch invasions is that there's that sort of initial 5 minutes of just euphoria where we're jumping around with the players. Muniz was right. The players sort of made a fairly quick exit after the main sort of invasion came on, but Muniz was cracking around for a long time. He was there for a good 5 minutes, just absolutely loving it. But then after that initial waves kind of subsided, you have just a mass of people on the pitch who nobody really knows what to do. They're just sort of wandering around like, on cloud nine with massive smiles on their faces. Were you on the pitch last night, Sammy?
I wasn't. I went on the pitch at Derby and I was with my dad, and I knew that he wouldn't be clambering over any advertising hoarding. So I stayed in the stand, safe in the knowledge that I'd done it once against Derby and I didn't feel like I had to do it again. I've got the pictures to prove that one. So I just enjoyed it from the stands and enjoyed the celebrations and just enjoyed watching everyone else on the pitch, which actually I liked this time. I didn't feel like I had to go on. I couldn't be bothered with the melee with all the stewards because some of the stewards at Hammersmith and were actually trying to stop people. I was just like, I'm more than comfortable up here with my dad, but it looked class. I loved all the photos. People dancing around. I say, Rodrigo Muniz is just 100% vibes. Like if you bought
Yeah.
in a bottle, he'd just be a can of lilt, wouldn't he? Just that's all he is. Just like he just loves love.
It's just a
Yeah,
happy,
it
happy
was
man.
it's such a good night. And yeah, I mean, you knew the pitch invasion was coming. The Hammersmith end was singing it from about the 40th minute that if we win, we're on the pitch. And that made its way around the whole stadium. I mean, yeah, any efforts to stop it were futile. And even the announcement, there was no announcements to get off the pitch. Everyone did it nicely. It wasn't like the Chelsea pitch invasion from years ago, which was genuinely a bit nasty. This was just people having a good time. Preston fans didn't care. Maybe if it was a local derby, it would have been a bit, if it had been QPR or something, it could have got a bit ugly, but Preston don't care.
Nah, of course it was quite good. I mean, I sit in the Putney, and there's a good atmosphere between the away supporters and the home supporters, and there was none of the sort of animosity that you get. I think of like when we were at Reading when they denied us in the playoff, and you got the pitch invasion, then you got the fans like giving it some to the away end. It's like there's no need for that at all. It was all very amicable. We've got some comments flooding in. This one's from Eddie Milbrook. Hit the horn, Sammy. I'm not sure if you've got the buttons on the old StreamYard, but
I'm trying to look around to see if there's anything in this house that will make a horn-like sound. I'm pretty sure there isn't. I mean, I'll just like tap a ring against the mug or something like that. Like, don't worry. Podcast later, actual air horn is going to get played. Actual air horn. The whole road in Godalming is going to know that I'm hitting the horn.
Good stuff. Got James Baldwin, the sentiment that I think all Fulham fans are sharing today. You Whites. We've got a comment here from JDBFFC11. Can I just say how Joe Bryan was amazing yesterday? 100% agree on this. I had a friend along to the match yesterday who doesn't watch Fulham all that often, and he said that left back is completely running that left-hand side. He was so assertive, so aggressive. In the tackle, he was every single time Preston were on the ball, he was just there in their faces. And that ball that he put through to Mitrovic for the first was absolutely sumptuous. It was such a good, well-weighted assist. Micho, he did everything for him, cut through sort of 2 or 3 Preston defenders. It was a really special ball, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know what? From the Hammersmith end, I don't think it was as impressive as then when I watched it on the highlights again. I thought from the Hammersmith end, I wasn't watching properly and assumed it must have been Neeskens Cabano to put in a ball of that quality. I wasn't really watching properly. And then also, I just thought it was a really overhit pass. I thought, why didn't the keeper come out for it? But that was all from the Hammersmith end when you're so far away. And actually, you watch the highlights and you realise that it, as you say, exquisite. And he feints it as well, because I think everyone thinks he's going to cross it into the box. It's almost a no-look pass from Joe, and that's what deceives the Preston defence. So, yeah, it's a brilliant ball and a wonderful little finish as well from Mitra. Underrated that through the keeper's legs. You know, it's just cool and composed. I wish he'd been that cool and composed for that one he missed at the beginning of the second half where he could have had his hat-trick.
Yeah.
The whole Hammersmith fan didn't even we were just silent. We're like, well, this is a goal. It's literally just basically an open goal. And he just somehow missed. It was weird. Everyone was like, how have you done that?
Yeah. Mitra doesn't tend to miss them, does he, at all? But yeah, it was a bit of a strange one. We've got some other comments. Harrison Reed ran for every ball too. Man of the match for me. Rob Lynn echoing that Reed was unreal. Not sure why he got taken off. One can only assume he maybe have picked up a slight knock. I just think maybe Harrison Reed plays so much better as a number 6, number 8. Or do you think we're just resting players? You know, the goal was in the bag. The game was in the bag by that point. He took Mitra off on 17. He was on a hat trick. He must have just thought, we're just going to rest these boys.
Yeah, because ultimately we have still got a game on Saturday against the team that's second in the league. They'll have had an extra day's rest because they played on Monday. They're in good form, Bournemouth. And, we go there and a win wins the title. I know it doesn't mathematically, but it puts us 12 points clear and they've got 4 games left. That we go to Bournemouth and win the title. Then people can start taking, their foot off the gas and be on the beach or whatever. Like, there's records to be broken and there's still things to achieve. And look, it's going to be difficult to win there now because I think the team was celebrating late into the night. I saw Tom Kenny's Instagram. They're in some nightclub with sparklers shooting out of champagne, singing along to Baby by Justin Bieber, I think.
That's very Premier League footballer. They've already adopted the kind of mindset of Premier League.
It's going to be hard under those circumstances to pick themselves up and go and win at Bournemouth, who have everything to play for. But I think that might have been what Marco was thinking last night. He was like, give Harrison Reed a rest, give Mitrovic a rest. There was no need for Mitrovic to be on the pitch other than his records. And also, we weren't creating chances by that point. We weren't playing properly. We were genuinely taking the piss and just trying like stupid balls over the top that, you know, it was kind of exhibition football for the last half an hour. Other than a mistake, we weren't going to score a goal. So there was not much point keeping even Mitro on the pitch. I know he desperately wants his record, but like, yeah, the game was done and I think we were saving ourselves.
Yeah, too right. William Freer, thanks so much for the £10 donation. If you bump into us at the Open Top Victory Parade on Putney High Street, we'll buy you some beers with this, but much appreciated.
Cheers, Will.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Will. Eddie Middlebrook, how about 40 goals for Mitro? Something none of us will probably see in our lifetime again. I mean, like with all the commotion, it's easy to overlook, and Mitro's just been superb from start to finish the season. Took his goals fantastically. I mean, the second goal was almost kind of like Luis Suarez-esque, the way he took it in his stride and then belted it in the corner. I say Luis Suarez-esque, it's Alexander Mitrovic-esque. You know, he is the man. But
Luis
yeah,
Suarez
Sammy,
has got a picture of Mitrovic on his wall.
yeah, 100%. But I mean, you know, talismanic performance yet again from our man, and I think that a few of my friends were messaging me yesterday, you know, saying congratulations on promotion and whatnot. But a lot of them said, this is Mitro's time in the Prem. He's surely going to do it in the Prem. And, you know, I think you'd be forgiven for thinking that after yesterday and the rest of the season, you know.
100%. And again, it was one of those in the Hammersmith end. I didn't think the third goal was that impressive. Like, I was kind of surprised that Preston keeper didn't save it, but actually maybe in hindsight, looking at the highlights, it was a really powerful shot. It was a nice little assist from Harry Wilson. And yeah, 40 goals. It was one of those things that actually, like, I was so focused, like from a Fulhamish point of view on us going up, that I kind of hadn't thought about the fact that he could break the 40 mark yesterday. So suddenly it was like, oh, he's 40 goals, bugger. That's like a monumental achievement. In any other season, that would be like up in lights. But because we were so focused on promotion last night, it kind of almost went unnoticed, really. And also, we're so focused as well on the 42, which is the record. But actually, you know, my dad made the point that a championship team would love to have a striker with 20 goals. Any championship team, if you could say, right, this player is going to come in for the season and score you 20 goals. And you look at clubs in the championship that haven't got a good striker. Middlesbrough, a prime example of a team that just like would be really good if they just had someone half decent up front that could score 20 goals. We've got someone that's done double that. Double. Effectively, we have two strikers in one from Alexander Mitrovic. So I think that, you know, everyone's talking about him. And you just I read Peter Rutzler's long read in The Athletic today, which is all talking about how Marcus Silva's team came in and transformed this team so quickly. And there's a huge swathe about Alexander Mitrovic and how, look, he was gone in the summer. He was 100% gone. And Silva had to, his first job was convince Mitrovic, no, I will build this team around you. And he was going through to Mitrovic, how he's going to, what system he's going to play and how Mitrovic is going to be the focal point of it. And thank God he did. Thank God he did, because it's just been one of the best attacking performances of the season. And look, he must be so up for Saturday. I reckon he didn't drink last night, just thinking, no, I've got one game left. I've got one game left here. Didn't score against him at home. He cannot wait to score at the Vitality.
Oh, I mean, it's going to be quite something, isn't it? He's going to be like a greyhound coming out the traps at Walthamstow, just chomping at the bit. If we think we've seen Mitro fired up yet, you ain't seen nothing coming. You got a strange man in the comments. Hello, what's your sometimes they slip through the net and manage to find their way in. But hello, Farrell. Hope your head's not too sore. I got a quick question here from Reese Ken. What style of play do we adopt in the Premier League? I mean, it's hard to think that we're going to stray too much from this kind of formula, but then again, we've been bitten by that tactic in the past when we went up with Slavisa. I really don't know. I mean, I'm not particularly articulate in the tactics world. I leave that to yourself, to Dan Cook, and to Ben Jarman. But I mean, other than maybe, you know, being a bit more defensive minded, do you think generally we stick to our guns? Do you think now we've secured promotion, we start to try out these kind of different formations and different styles of play to try and give us a good shot in the Premier League? What do you reckon?
I don't think we'll do much this season. I don't think there's much point. I think Dan raised this point on a podcast that there isn't much point really trying to test out Premier League tactics against Championship opposition. I mean, the next 4 games are interesting. They are ridiculously difficult. It is as difficult as you're going to get. You've got 4 teams either that are all in the top 6. So that is actually mad, the fixture lists that we've got coming up. But I think I can see us obviously having maybe an extra defensive person in the midfield. I can see us, not playing with a number 10 once Fabio Carvalho is gone. But I think the overall philosophy of the team, the preciseness of the attack, the way that our set pieces are so well coordinated, the way that our attacking play is orchestrated, every move is clearly rehearsed, and the patterns of play are all there. I don't see why that needs to change. I don't see now we're in the Premier League. Now we need to just go either long ball or completely change the style of play. We're just obviously going to have to occasionally realize who we're up against and have a few more defensive bodies in there and maybe not take so many risks going forward, and then pick our moments. And we're going to have to scrap games 1-0 and 2-1 to get results. And, games like last night where you just breeze 3-0 in the first half are just never going to happen. They're not ever going to happen, barring a freak or a team having an unbelievably bad night. But routine wins like that will not happen next season. So we just have to adjust our expectations as fans a little bit accordingly. But I don't think that Silva's suddenly going to rip up the rule book. There's a lot that's worked this year. We've scored 25 goals from set pieces. That'll be a huge thing next season. We scored 1 from a set piece in the Premier League under Scott Parker. So, that's an area I think that Fulham can get a lot of joy. If you can get 10 to 15 goals from set pieces in the Premier League next season, I think Fulham stay up. And that will be a big thing for us next year, is working really hard at those things and just hoping, obviously, a little bit of quality occasionally strikes through. Harry Wilson, Alexander Mitrovic, they've all got enough quality. If we sign Manor Solomon, and according to Fabrizio Romano last night, he gave it the here we go. So I think we can be pretty confident that he's joining next season. And we're going to be signing a lot of players. I think I was talking to Dean Jones about it, Transfer Insider. He thinks that Fulham are signing 6 to 8 players, which I think is a lot. But I think it says a lot about the ambition here. And I think there's going to be a big clear out at Craven Cottage of players that we don't need anymore, whilst hopefully trying to keep that ethos. It's going to be hard, that. I don't think that's an easy challenge for Marco to get that right and keep the kind of ethos in the dressing room.
I think that was one of the problems that we had when we went up the first time with Slavisa. It was too much of a squad overhaul, and we can only hope that Marco Silva is given, freedom to bring in the players that he wants, the system that he's going to implement. And, I have every faith. And after last night, it's made me even more excited for next year. So, thank you so much for everyone who's got in touch with the comments. There's a lot of euphoria flying around. Just drink this in, enjoy it. These next few weeks are going to be good. We've got hopefully the open top bus sort of up, and we can be crowned as champions. But Sammy, thank you so much for joining me, mate. It's been a lot of fun. And have a great rest of your week, everyone, and bring on Bournemouth on Saturday, eh?
You whites.